Thank the gentleman. I'll now go to Mr. Pfluger from Texas, 5 minutes.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chairman, Secretary. Thank you for being here. Would you consider yourself the principal advisor to the president for energy matters?
I'm the Secretary of Energy. I'm one of the main advisors, but he's
Okay.
got a few.
But you're the principal advisor.
Well, I
on
don't know that I would
energy.
say that. I think he's got some
The
very
Secretary of
good
Energy.
advisors in the White
I
House.
believe in this position. I represent the Permian Basin. We've had this conversation before. We produce about 43% of the country's crude oil. It's the most secure supply of oil and gas in the entire world. And in fact, I would also go a step further, that it's probably the only thing that has kept this economy going despite the policies that we've seen. Very concerned about those policies, and I just have a couple of questions for you. Based on, being the Secretary of Energy, when the president went to Saudi Arabia and asked OPEC Plus to increase production, was that your recommendation to him to do that?
I think the president wanted to see greater production in the United States also.
We have that ability.
And
That's why
he's
HR
been
1
asking
is so
for it.
important. And Madam Secretary, you are the Secretary of Energy. We are blessed as a country to have the most enormous amount of reserves, not just of oil and gas, but of so many other critical minerals and things that have been discussed today. Did you recommend that he go to Saudi Arabia and ask for them to produce more oil?
I was not in that conversation.
So he did not ask the Secretary of Energy for
I was
your
not in that
recommendation?
conversation. But I will say this, he has been very strong about asking for greater supply here in the United States.
And we have that capacity to do that. I'm extremely troubled with the fact that for a political emergency, the president released over half of our SPR. At what point in time will you make a recommendation to the president or act upon current law to refill?
We will be refilling, as
What's
you're probably,
you have a timeline?
as soon as we're finished with the current congressionally mandated sale, which we are required to do before the end of the fiscal year. As soon as that's done, because as you're probably aware, you can't take in and release at the same time, we will begin the
I'd like
process
for you to
of
follow up
refilling.
for the record on that one, to let us know what that timeline looks like. I'm going to move to the next question.
Starting this summer.
You said we cannot flip a switch today, but the administration has actually tried to flip that switch. Just a couple of questions for you when it comes to what's the total amount of electricity that our country needs on an annual basis?
Well, right now, we have about 1,400 gigawatts on our grid.
On an annual basis, what does that equate to?
Well, 1,400 gigawatts on the grid, so how much electricity we have a bunch of different sources of electricity that are provided. We use about three.
It's about 4 trillion kilowatt hours per year. And I would expect you to know that because when we have a 2032 mandate to get to electric vehicles like my colleague just mentioned, my next question is, what will the increase in that total amount of annual
We have to
demand
double
be?
the size of the electric grid by 2035.
Double. So what portion of our grid is serviced by hydrocarbons right now?
About 40% is natural gas, about 17% is coal, and the rest is clean.
Okay, so it's about 20%, 22% coal,
Nope,
19% nuclear.
17%. It's as of right now.
This is from y'all's website.
Well,
38% natural gas and 20% renewable. So what in 2032, if we have to double, and thank you for that answer. That's actually more than I was expecting you to say. If we have to double the amount of electricity, where is that going to come from?
That's going to come from growing our energy pie.
In what pieces of pie will grow?
We want to increase clean.
Clean. So what does that mean? What is
So
clean?
that means let's increase nuclear. Let's increase hydroelectric power. Let's increase geothermal.
What about in places that don't have hydro?
Well, that's why you have a transmission grid, to be able to bring electricity from where it's generated to where it's needed.
When was the last time you visited the Permian Basin?
I have not been to the Permian
It's
Basin.
the most prolific production area for energy in this country.
Will you invite me?
I have invited you.
I didn't know
I
that.
invited you last year when I saw you in a meeting,
Great.
and I'll invite you again. This area helped us win World War II. This area has lifted 1 billion people out of poverty. This administration is choosing to not use the best of the above strategy. I'm not an all of the above kind of person. I'm a best of the above. And that's different for different places. Hydrocarbons in some places, clean natural gas, maybe if you have hydroelectric. We have more wind energy in my congressional district than the entire state of California. Come see it. It doesn't always work. The wind in West Texas in July when it's 110 degrees in the middle of summer doesn't blow,
But your sun shines.
but it does. And give me a battery that works for more than 4 hours that services the
working on
largest
that.
electric grid in the country.
Yeah.
We don't want to be like Europe. We don't want to be like California. That's why we're trying to use a best of the above approach. My time has expired, but I would like to see, Mr. Chairman, the timeline for when the SPR is going to be refilled. I yield back.
Gentleman yields back. We'll go to Mr. Carter from Georgia.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Appreciate you letting me wave onto this committee. Madam Secretary, thank you